the life that's happening right now. Hello. Hi, Monica. Monica says hi. It's me, and whoever else, we'll pass all the love around. I'm Nicole Watkins, for those of you guys who I don't know, but a lot of you I do know. It's wonderful to have your names pop on here. Teaching for Kaira Studios, and we're just here to help and be here for you guys. In LA, it has been really rainy this week, which I know we shouldn't complain, but it's hard when you live with the sunshine all the time. So I've been really working a lot with the shoulders and the thorax and things like that. So I want to kind of keep that work up, just because I know a lot of us are working maybe not in the best positions in our current circumstances with our upper back. And also just when anxiety comes in, the thoracic inlet outlet gets a lot of constriction, and sometimes we'll get tingling in our hands or neck pain, things like that. So we're just going to start with that. So I want you to start sitting cross-legged. If cross-legged is not comfortable for you, really just sit where it feels comfortable for you. You know, a lot of things, as much as I'm a stickler for alignment, I also want you to listen to your body and what's right for you. And if you need any suggestions, like I'll hang around at the end of class and you can ask me anything that you need. If you need a seat, we have bolsters here, but at home you probably just have like a pillow from your couch or your bed or whatever you've got around. You can sit up on something. That might be a little more comfortable, especially if you feel like you're like knees to your armpits. So figure out the position that's right for you. We're going to do a little side bending with some arm circles. If ever the shoulder range is too much to do like a big sweeping arm circle, then just bend the elbows with the fingertips on the shoulders. So we're going to take one hand down to the ground and the other arm up and overhead, and just take a nice big breath in there, kind of fluffing up the side that you're stretching. And then come back to center and do the other side. We're going to kind of go back and forth a little bit, and we'll add on each time. So stretching the other direction, breathing in, fluffing up those top ribs, softening the bottom side as you expand the top side. And then come center. And then this time, as you go to the other side, catching your weight in your bottom arm, sweep your other arm forward and then overhead. Let your eyes gently follow your hands. Very easy. Notice where's the constriction in your neck, your upper back. Let your hand go a little bit behind you, letting your eyes go as much as they can, and then come all the way down with that arm and back to center. We're going to do that 2 more times on this side. Reaching forward, following the hand with the eyes, overhead, a little bit behind with the hand, and all the way down. One more. Reaching forward, overhead. Now there, right through that plane is where I start to feel like, oh, my fascia's starting moving. So like 3rd time, we're really getting somewhere. And then come center. Then we're going to try the other side. So catching your body weight in the other hand, softening that side as you open the other side. Sweep the arm forward, overhead, back behind you, and around. And forward, overhead, back behind you, and down. Letting your eyes try and follow your hands. Circling that arm and around. Then we're going to find center, and we're going to shrug, let the hands rest on the knees or the thighs or the ground, whatever feels, again, listen to your body. You're going to inhale and let your ribs float out and up like they are handles on the sides of a bucket, floating out and up. At the end of your exhale, let your shoulders pinch up towards your ears, or lift up towards your ears. I don't want to say pinch, because I'm not actually trying to be super aggressive in my traps. I'm actually kind of letting it be passive. Inhale, inhale, inhale. And as I exhale, I'm going to soften my shoulders onto my ribs first. And then at the very end of my exhale, I let my ribs go. So I'm almost suspending that inhalation, that expansion out and up of my ribs. We're going to do that 3 more times. Inhale. Ribs go out and up, shoulders lift up towards the ears, collarbones lift with that. Can the ears stay over your shoulders, or does the chin and the ear like, do they want to glide forward? Keep them over your shoulders if you can. And then exhale, let the shoulders drop down first, then let the ribs drop down. 2 more like this. Inhale. Let the ribs lift, lift the shoulders lift. Check in with the neck and head alignment. My chin always wants to shear forward here. And then exhale, let the shoulders drop. Let the ribs drop. As I start to do this, I can feel my hips trying to grip. So I'm going to see if I can wiggle a little bit. Let go of some of that and do one more. Inhale, ribs lift, shoulders lift. And then exhale, shoulders relax. Then the ribs relax. Then we're going to take the hands to the tops of the shoulders here. And what we're going to do is circle the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. If you can, start to integrate. As I reach forward with my shoulders, I'm also going to take my elbows. And then I'm going to go up. My elbows go wide as I go back and down. Forward, up, back, and down. So you're slowly building on whatever range of motion feels right for you. Circling the shoulders. Inhaling as you go up. Exhaling as you circle down. One more like this. And then go the other direction. Inhale as you go back and up. Exhale as you go forward and down. Inhale as you go back and up. Exhale. Notice when you're doing this, the range of motion of your shoulder blades. What's coming from the range of motion there? What's coming from your spine? And what's coming from your head? And try and organize it so you're really trying to get a clear picture of what's actually happening in your shoulders. One more. All right, then shake that out. Take a moment, let your arms just rest wherever it's comfortable. Breathe in, breathe out, and just see if it feels any different than just when you started sitting at the beginning. We're gonna come onto our hands and knees from here. So on your hands and knees, we're gonna do a similar shoulder shrug. If your wrists are sensitive, please go onto your fists. Or you could even do this on your forearms. Just make sure the elbows are in line with the shoulder joint. So wherever you need to be, if that feels good for your body. Hands, fists, or forearms. Make sure that your knees are padded up if you need to. And I imagine that my pelvis is being propped up with my thighs, just like my rib cage is being propped up with my shoulders. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop the shoulders down. I want to actually exhale as you drop the chest down, let the shoulder blades draw together. And then inhale, feel a lightness, like the air that you intake is floating your brain and your lungs and your heart to the ceiling as your shoulder blades wrap around your ribs on an inhale. Exhale, dropping down, shoulder blade to shoulder blade. Press to the hands, inhale, pushing the floor away, floating your body towards the ceiling. Exhale, dropping down. Inhale, floating up. 2 more, exhale, dropping down. Inhale, floating up. Last one, exhale, dropping down. Inhale, floating up. Notice when you got your inhale, you floated back up with your body. Did you also start to curve your spine? So we don't always want to do that. So see what you can do to lengthen from breastbone to pubic bone, but keep that line taut as you lengthen it. Open the collarbones and keep pushing the floor away. From here, we're just going to see, can we keep this stability as we just test the waters and send one leg back? So just stretching the leg back. My thought today is like, let's find some freedom in our body, but with support. So as you stretch that leg back, there's a lot of support and control you need to hold in your torso. Part of that is going to be a lightness, and part of that's going to be effort and work. Then see what happens if you lift your leg that you stretch back, if you lift it up. What I have to really keep thinking about is where are my points of contact with the mat? Those are my support systems. So I'm going to push my leg that's still on the mat down into the mat, getting that hip a little more active. I'm going to press through my hands. I'm going to feel that lightness through my ribs, my chest, lungs, skull. And then what we're going to do is just see if we can move the leg that's straight out and up. We're going to lift it up and down. And instead of thinking about how high I lift my leg, I'm thinking about the reach and the stretch. The stretch and the pull that I feel even across the front of my hip through my abdomen. And I'm not letting my spine flail around too much, right? It might move a little bit, but I'm trying to stabilize it. Lifting and lowering, pushing through your stabilizing point. So your two hands, elbows, fists, and your one leg that's pushing down the mat as you move this other leg. Continue to lengthen from head to tail. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Stretch it, stretch it, stretch it. Squeeze the flesh around your thigh. Imagine someone's pulling the thigh, pulling the leg, and your head keeps reaching the opposite direction of that leg. And then bring that leg back underneath you. Take a second, breathe in. Exhale, let's let the chest drop down as you exhale. Just let everything collapse, let your shoulders hang for a second. Find the length in the neck, the throat. Press to the hands and float your body back up on a nice big inhale. On your exhale, find a little belly support. The standing leg is going to push into the ground as you send the other leg back. Did anything shift? Of course something shift, right? You did a little asymmetrical move. So how can you find center and length and stability in your body? I'm going to push my shin that's still on the ground down into the mat as I lift my leg up now, testing the waters. How does this side feel different? Am I already hunching my shoulders towards my ears and my chest is closed off? Can I open my collarbones? Can I keep my upper back, my ribs light so that my shoulder blades have something to rest on? The second that we lose the scapula on the ribs, that's the moment it starts pulling in the neck, because that's where they're attached, right? So it's like, if we don't have a surface for them to rest on, they're going to do whatever they need to do to stabilize. Find your stability, your length, and just start to lower and lift the leg that's in the air. Reach out and up with that leg. Oh. This side feels always different. 2. I have to really think about my alignment in my knee on this side. What's happening to my neck and head? Stretching. Imagine you're getting like a, you know, sometimes when I do footwork on the reformer, I think every time I straighten my legs should be like a little microscopic stretch in the front of my hips, that compression that happens when we get, you know, really sedentary or immobile in the hip joint. And I think every time I bend and straighten should be a massage there. I kind of want to feel the same thing here. So every time I lift that leg, it's like opening the front of my low belly, the front of my hip joint, the front of the hip flexors. 2 more there. What's head to tail doing? Open the collarbones, lift, and then bring that leg back underneath you. From here, we're going to do a nice cat-cow. So now you can start curling the pelvis underneath you. So start by sending your sits bones towards your knees. Draw the tail under, curl the low belly up, lift the navel up, then lift the solar plexus diaphragm up, up, up. Let the heart lift to the ceiling and let your head drop. Notice if your shoulders became your earrings or did they glide and articulate with your rib cage? Keep them with your rib cage as you inhale and go the other way. So stretching the pubic bone back and up and the chest out and up. And then exhale, going the other way. Curl the pelvis, rounding, 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 lifting the belly up. And there is an amount of the feet or the shins pushing down and the hands pushing down, rounding there. And then inhale, going the other way. 1 more like this. Exhale, rounding. Go for maximum length of your curve rather than just trying to tighten into the tightest ball. Just hold this time and think, what can I do to find more length at the base of my skull? What can I do to feel the support in my throat? What about in my heart? What about in my lungs? What about my kidneys? What about my organs? What about my pelvic bones, the inside of my pelvis? Stretching, and then keep that support system as you stretch the other way, breathing in. And then find a happy medium. All right, from there, just shift the hips a little side to side. And what we're gonna do is come down to resting on your side. So you're gonna lay on your side. I like to align with the back edge of my mat. I've been playing with this off and on. My hips, my ribs, shoulders, head are aligned. I had to make sure I said the same. Hips, ribs, shoulders, head. Yes. You're gonna take your top arm either to the mat in front of you or completely overhead, whatever is right for your shoulder. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna let it move. My bottom leg is gonna come a little bit more forward so it can kind of push into the mat for some stability. And we're just going to let the shoulder soften, lift the top leg up. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna inhale and shrug your top shoulder up towards your ear. If you're straightening the arm, pull the arm gently. If you're not straightening the arm, just let the shoulder shrug up and lift and lengthen your top leg away from that on a nice, long, expansive inhale. And then exhale, just bend the leg in, let the shoulder soften. Inhale, going out. Let your ribs go out and up. So it's like towards the ceiling, towards the floor, and up towards your ears. And then exhale, coming in. Inhale, going out and up. Stretching the arm and leg away. Oh, exhale, coming in. One more like this. Inhale, going out and up. Keep the length as you exhale. Bring your arm down and shoulder down. Keep your leg lifted. You're going to lift that leg up, but keep your pelvis as stable as possible and lower that leg down. Inhale, reach out and up. So again, that stretch across the front of the hip. You can lift your head up and just give a peek to be like, oh, is my ankle, my knee, my hip, are those in alignment? What about my pelvis and my rib cage? Are my ribs kind of rolling forward or my pelvis rolling back? Do I see movement in this hip as I lift and lower? And then your neck might get tired, so come down and let it rest as you keep moving the leg. Trying to sense that alignment without the visual feedback. But sometimes we need that, especially when you don't have hands on you or eyes on you in person. You know, we all need that feedback. 2 more. Lifting up, woo, and lowering down. Lifting up, lowering down. No rest for the warrior. We're gonna lift that leg up to about the height of the pelvis. Keep the hand resting, but start to lean into your bottom ribs because we're gonna allow you to roll now on the rib cage a bit. So you're gonna kick your leg forward and just take a peek at the foot and make sure it hasn't dropped down towards the ground, that it's at least hip height, maybe a tiny bit above. Push through your hands and roll a little bit on your bottom rib cage back. So you're kind of starting to look a little towards the ceiling. Point your toes and press your leg back and roll towards the mat, stretching the front line of your body. Flex and kick forward on an inhale. Point, kick back, let your body roll. So I'm thinking a little bit like I have my own double twisted helix. I have my own spiral as I do this. My navel point is kind of the crux of that spiral that I'm rolling around. Barbershop pole feeling, rotisserie, whatever image sticks in your brain. As you swing the leg, you're letting your ribs move. If you want to add on the arm of the top side of your body, as the leg goes forward, the arm could go back. And as the leg goes back, the arm goes forward. Leg goes forward, arm goes back. This is only if you want to add that in. But again, that work with space is what we're going for today. Kick forward as the arm goes back and back as the arm goes forward. Stay there, kind of either rolling into the mat or stretching with the arm and rolling to back. Keep the leg reaching longer. And what you're gonna do is little circles with that leg, and you are twisted in your spine. You're not actually static and stacked. So I still wanna think a little navel to the spine, so you're lengthening head to tail. And you're just gonna circle that top leg, reaching it as long as possible. Still focusing on the back and the up. Really think about your femur stirring in the socket as you do this. So even though there's a little more flexibility in today's ranges of motion and what we're playing with, reverse your direction of your circle for 8, 7. I still wanna find that there's control. There's a sense of alignment. 3 more, or maybe 4 more. 2, 1, and I'm really feeling my tush now, and I'm gonna stretch that leg out straight. I'm gonna straighten my bottom leg, and then I'm gonna slowly roll over onto my belly. Center yourself up as much as you can on your belly. Wiggle around in your pelvis, kind of press your pelvis into the mat, press your hands into the mat under the chest. And I don't want this to be about a super high back extension. I want this to be about waking up your upper thoracic spine, which we did a lot of decompression of with all that side bending shoulder movement earlier. So what we're gonna do, sink the chest, sink the pelvis, lift the head of chest just enough to feel some length in the neck and the throat. So as I do that, a lot of times I start to compress the back of my neck. So I'm just gonna figure out where do I need to be that my neck, the sides of my neck, the back of my neck, and my throat feel long. And what I'm gonna do is push into one hand to rock weight into my other rib cage. And I'm just gonna go back and forth. So I push into my other hand, rocking weight into the other side of my ribs. And go back and forth 2 more times, pushing into one hand to shift the body weight to the other side of the body. And push into the hand, rock to the other side. 1 more time each side, pressing. Notice if you're trying to hold in your lower back, let that go. Push your pelvis into the mat. Use a little hamstring and glute. Rotate to the other side. We're gonna start to add our eyes and head with this. So as I push through one hand and rock to the other ribs, I'm gonna try and keep my pelvis relatively stable. And I'm gonna look over that shoulder of the side I'm pushing. So I'm leaning into one side of my body and my rib cage as I look over the other shoulder and then come center. And then I'm gonna push and look over the other side and then come center and then press, looking over the other side. Don't forget where you can use gravity. So that leaning into the body is as important as the lifting. You are gonna get your up from your down. Maybe that can be like a life thing, I don't know. Look to the other side. Notice which side is harder. Notice which side is harder on your neck and which side is harder for your eyes and for your spine or your back, and be gentle with yourself as you coax yourself into this rocking position. All right, then come center. You're gonna breathe in, and as you exhale, you're gonna pull the belly up, press into the hands and push onto your hands and knees. Coming back to our hands and knees, I didn't forget that we did the side stuff. We've got one more thing. We are gonna take the side leg that you worked. So when we were laying on our side, you lifted and lowered that leg and we did all the circles and all that stuff, that same leg is going to stretch back behind you. You're gonna push the other leg into the mat, find the belly coming away from the thighs towards the ceiling, a real lightness in your shoulders and your hands. If you need to be on fists or on your forearms, you can do that. It's gonna be a little harder to get what you wanna do in this next thing with your forearms. So I would recommend doing hands or fists for this one. Push the stabilizing leg down to the mat, and on your exhale, slowly lengthen from head to tail. Curl your pelvis, bring your knee to your nose. Pull the belly up. Think about a very long curve there. And then inhale, stretch the arm, the head and the leg away from each other. Exhale, curling. Where is it that it's easy for you to control your curl, and where is it hard? Inhale, going out. Trust that your body will do the easy route. You start to focus on the harder bits, right? For me, navel is a little bit more challenging these days. Neck and head as well. 2 more, exhale, rounding. My glutes, my pelvis can tuck pretty well. The rest of my spine organizing is what I'm curious about. Inhale, going out. Last one, exhale, curling, 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 curling. Inhale, reaching out, stretch your leg. Open the chest, be light. So like at any moment I could push into my stabilizing leg and just whoop, lift my hands off the ground. Try that. Okay, how do I do that? All right, we get to do the other side. Just a little moment of play. Resting on the other side, pelvis, ribs, shoulders, head all in alignment. If you need to, just keep the hand resting on the mat and you would just shrug your shoulder up and down. Or if you feel up to it, stretch your top arm overhead. I'm gonna stretch the leg out and let my shoulder and my leg lift up. And then exhale, bring it in. Bend the knee, let the shoulder relax. Inhale, shoulder and leg lift and reach. Exhale, bend the leg in today and let the shoulder relax. This is inhale, stretching up and out. And then exhale. That was my knee popping, if you could hear that. Inhaling. And then exhaling. Let's do one or two more here. Inhaling. This side, it's harder for my ribs to organize. And then exhaling, coming in. Inhaling, shoulder, ribs, leg. Keep that space as you bring your arm to a nice supported position. Bring your bottom leg a little forward if you need to for a little kickstand. We're going to start to kick the leg forward and back. So we're going to flex the foot and kick forward, point and kick back. As we start to do this, let yourself rock a little bit in your ribs. So as I kick forward, I rock back, looking a little towards the ceiling. As I point and kick my leg back, I roll a little towards the floor. Kick and roll a little towards the ceiling. Point and roll a little towards the floor. Kick and roll towards the ceiling. Point and roll towards the floor. Notice just every now and then, if you want to add the arm in, you add the arm in the opposite direction of the leg. If you feel up to it, just take a peek and make sure your foot isn't drifting towards the floor, although that could be a nice fun thing to do sometime, but we're not going to do that today. Point and go back. So I want your tush to work. So again, that space and work at the same time. Swinging the arm if that feels up to you, but letting yourself find where gravity is giving you support. So I'm thinking about the down into the mat to help me find the up. All right, then you're going to stretch your leg back, find your spiral into the ground. I'm going to adjust on this side because on this side, my top ribs are going to want to kind of shear forward and lull into the mat rather than actually spiral. So instead of them actually wrapping around a central axis, they kind of are distorting that central axis. So I'm going to find my navel. I'm going to think a little bit more spiral. And my arm is, I'm not going to have my arm out as much on this one because I just want to be a little more curious of what's happening on this side. And I'm going to lift that leg up, circle it back and around. Strong, 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 strong thighs. So really extend the leg from the meat around the thigh rather than just the ankle or the calf. Those can also work, but start proximal. Start in your hip joint and work your way out distally towards your toes. 3 more circles in this direction. And then reverse your direction. I keep wanting to, this knee is a little less stable as well on this side. So it keeps wanting to kind of guide from there or disconnect in the knee joint. So I'm going to really focus on lifting that whole thigh. Like my leg is just an oar moving in water and making little circles with the whole thing. Where's my spiral? Keep circling for 3. Circle for 4. Wait, I just added 1. 2, 1. One more. And then we're going to roll back to our belly. Once you're on your belly, wiggle again. See what you can do with your hands in the mat to push or lean some weight into your pubic bone. Notice if it's even or uneven. Then lift the kneecaps off, engaging the thighs. So my thighs are engaged, hamstrings are engaged, sits bone, hamstring to foot connection is really engaged. I'm pushing the front of my hips into the mat. And then at the same time, I'm going to kind of pull with my hands now to lean a little weight into my chest, more than I think I need. And then from there, I'm going to lift my hands up and take them into a cactus or goalpost position out of the side. My elbows bent at a 90-degree angle. And I'm going to rotate so that my elbows tap the ground and my forearms are up. My chest, if you look, I'm not very high, right? I'm very close to the mat. Chest is heavy, pelvis is heavy, legs are active. Then I'm going to tap my fingertips down and lift my elbows up. And then elbows down, fingers up, fingers down, elbows up. Going back and forth with this. So you're just kind of waving your arms, elbows up, fingers down, fingers up. Breathing there. Can you find length and spaciousness in your neck and your low back, using your legs, using your core support as you do this with your arms? And notice all the ways that your body, especially when we start to meet discomfort, how we want to shorten, how we want to grip, how we want to sort of cheat out of that. Keep your spaciousness even when it gets hard. Keep your alignment even when it gets hard. Then open the arms out to the sides of the room in a big giant T, like you're trying to touch the sides of the wall, the sides of the room that you're in. Keep thinking about the knees lifting. Send the tail a little bit longer in between the feet. How do I do that? Just think it. Then see if you could lift the feet up with the kneecaps also off. So your legs are having to work. Notice if your low back immediately just like shrank on you, or your head, your chin just immediately pulled up, because that's the whole back line of your body. If that happened, bring the tops of the feet back to the mat. If not, keep the feet off. Bring the arms by your side with the palms up. Just stay there. Straighten the elbows and open the collarbones, and just be a human arrow. If you feel like this is enough, stick with this. If you want to add on, you open the collarbones, squeeze the back of the armpits, pump the palms towards the ceiling, and squeeze the arms towards each other, like you're trying to bring your hands over your butt. And then release. Squeeze the upper arms, open the collarbones, hands towards the ceiling, arms over your butt. You could just hold this position and think, collarbones wide, elbows straight. Collarbones wide, elbows straight. I am an arrow. Collarbones are wide, elbows are straight. You could just go with that chant, or you could add the movement of the palms pushing up to the ceiling and the arms coming closer over the butt. 3 more of wherever you are, either 3 more deep breaths or 3 more movements of the arms, palm pushing up and coming closer together. Palms pushing up, arms coming close together, long back of the neck, heavy chest. I've already started, I've tried to, I got into my back bend, so I'm trying to take that away just a little bit so I can really get into the shoulder strength and then relax. From here, we're gonna push back into our hands and knees, and we get to do our cat-cow on the other side. So that one leg out cat-cow situation. So from here, remember that side leg that you just worked. Find your hands or your fists, or if needed, forearms. Find the lightness. You should have felt like all of this work in the back of your armpit. Kind of engage that a little bit here. Feel your ribs and your scapula connected. Collarbones are wide. Press into your stabilizing shin as you extend the other leg back. Find the length as you lift that leg up. Exhale, round your whole spine. Curl the knee towards your nose. Woo, this side feels different, especially after doing a little bit of extension in my back. How do I get those muscles to now work eccentrically? And then inhale, going out with the leg, lengthening the spine, maybe open the chest just slightly. Exhale, curling and rounding. Woo. And then inhale, reaching out. Exhale, curling. Inhale, stretching out. Where's that stabilizing side? Where's the lightness in your body? Exhale, curling. And then inhale, stretching out. And then bring that leg down. However you need to, you're gonna come to sitting with your knees bent, feet together. We're gonna see if we can kind of massage the organs as we add a little bit of rotation. So there's gonna be a lot of work. I want you to find the range of motion that allows you to actually kind of like glide your organs and your fascia and your body without feeling a ton of strain. So again, this idea of you have strength, but you have space. So you're gonna grab your thighs to start, and you're gonna already just pull the belly back, get a little taller, then roll the pelvis underneath you, curling the butt underneath you, peek towards your knees and make sure they are as level as you can get them. Keeping the pelvis curled under you. Stay there and just kind of hold with your arms as you pull your navel back a little bit more. And imagine as you pulled your navel back, that you got a little taller, like ears to the ceiling. All right, then we're gonna see if we can hold here as we reach the arms out. And then we're gonna do this sort of just very simple rotation. So reach one arm forward and rotate in that direction. So if someone were to just pull my arm, I would start to go with them, right? The only thing that's happening is this time we rotate in that direction, but we're not gonna lift up to sitting, right? And the other arm can just fall back. This bow and arrow sort of stance. And I'm gonna stay there. I'm gonna take the hand that's reaching forward. I'm gonna grab my opposite shin and just give myself a little extra twist there, just so I can really think, can I actually get that spiral? And then inhale, center. Try the other side. Reach the other arm forward, 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 forward. Other arm just falls back. Take the hand that's reaching forward to grab the opposite knee and just see how this side feels. Maybe even take your hand that's just not reaching forward, that's behind you. I'm gonna take it onto the mat and let it help me on this side because this side's a little bit more challenging for me. Woo, different. And then we're gonna come center. And with that awareness of what your body likes and doesn't like, you're gonna start to move. So you're gonna exhale and you're gonna sweep the arms around in a loop. And then you're gonna go down, up, and back to center. Exhale, sweep around. Exhale, sweep around. Every now and then, look at your knees. Try and keep them as centered as possible. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. You can imagine you're like a dancery kayak. So just kind of let it go. Can I massage my organs? What's happening in my stomach, my spleen, my gallbladder, my liver on the other side? Like, what's happening with all that? What's happening with my breath and my diaphragm as I do this? Oh yeah, I feel my abdominals. What's happening? And then you're gonna do one more sweep each side. Come center, stay center. Inhale, reach your arms up. Imagine you're hanging from your arms. And then hold that as you start to roll down, like someone's holding you up by the fingertips at the ceiling. As you pull your pelvis underneath you, you can even squeeze the hips if you want to. Pull the navel back and then come all the way down and rest. Arms up to the ceiling. Feet can come a little closer to your butt. And they can be 6 bones distance, and you're gonna breathe in. And as you exhale, sink into the mat. You're gonna press, we haven't been on our back yet. You're gonna press onto your feet. You're gonna slowly start to come up into a bridge, whether it's hinging or articulated through your spine, so you could peel off the mat, or you could just push up and come up. Find what's right for you. And as I do this, I'm like, what is going into the mat, right? So what's going into the mat? My shoulder blades, the spine right between my shoulder blades. My neck is actually pretty free. I feel my head, and I feel my feet. And how do I feel my feet? And can I press a little bit more through my feet to get my hips higher? Notice I said hips and not back. The back will come when the hips move, right? Stay there. Reach your arms overhead towards the floor with the elbows straight, only as much as you feel like it feels safe in your body. Then from there, roll down. And I want you to sink, like squeeze your ribs down as you hold your arms where they are. Pull both sides of the ribs down, 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 then the pelvis. Then from there, bend your elbows into that cactus position we did on our belly, but now you're on your back, bending the elbows and circling all the way down and around. All right, we're gonna do that again. Reach the arms up, find gravity, press into the feet, bridge up. When you're up at the highest place of your bridge, reach the arms overhead. Roll down with the most centered you can, right? The most centered. We are only human, so only you're most symmetrical, right? And then bending and circling the arms around, bending the elbows, I should say. And then one more like this, and then we get to play. So you come up again with the arms to the ceiling, pushing into your feet, lifting the hips up. Breathing there, reach the arms to the floor above your head. Rolling down. Rolling, 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 rolling. Bending the elbows with the palms up, circling the arms all the way down to the floor. Palms find the mat. We're gonna dig into the rotation of our pelvis on our legs, so I want you to be very gentle in your back when you do this. I'm gonna tuck in my shirt so it's a little easier to see what's happening. So pushing into the feet, lifting the hips just barely off the mat. So there, I'm gonna move my arm out of the way, but you guys can keep your arms down by your side. It's just gonna be a little easier to see if I move this arm that's closer to the camera out of the way. So I want my butt to like, I can graze it on the mat, but it's not weight bearing. And then I'm just gonna peek my head up and be like, are you centered? What's happening there? Then I'm gonna stand in one leg. I'm gonna float the other leg up to tabletop. Or I'm even going to extend that one leg towards the ceiling. I like extending it because it almost feels easier to me because it's a little bit more direct relationship with gravity. I'm going to try and relax my shoulders because they tense up. And what I'm going to do in the side that's up in the air, or even if you keep your feet down, that's fine. But what we're going to do is drop that butt cheek down and then come back to center, leveling your pelvis. So it's a really small but powerful range of motion. Drop the butt down, then come back to center. This is clamshells, but on steroids. This is like how you need to get your clamshells to function for you in daily life. Drop your head down. I'm gonna just lift my head for a second so I can watch what's happening because it feels a little crooked. Ooh, there we go. And drop my hip down and lift back up. Yep, that's totally different work. So it's really about that leg that's still on the ground. Drop the leg that's in the air, that butt cheek drops, and then you try and come back to center, rolling your pelvis on that standing leg. 2 more, butt cheek down, come back up. Last one, butt cheek down, come back up, plant that foot down, find center, no rest for the weary. We get to go right away for the other side. I'm gonna keep my hands on my hips because it is totally all over the place today for whatever reason. I'm gonna extend my leg like I imagine someone's got strings pulling my foot towards the ceiling. I'm gonna drop that butt cheek down, and then I've gotta work not to just lift that foot back up, but to roll my pelvis back on my standing side, my stabilizing side, right? So that's really what's happening. Drop down and lift back up to center. It's very small. And coming back to center. Drop the butt cheek down, come back to center. I'm rolling around this leg. And so some of the cheats you might find is either trying to lift the leg that's floating in the air, like leading from that lower back. You might just be leading from the low back in general, or you might be trying to do something in the standing leg where you kick your knee around. So check in with the pressure of that foot that's on the ground. Check in with that side. What's happening? Are you rolling to the pinky edge of that foot to find your support, or can you keep your foot like a tripod grounded in the mat and roll your pelvis around your femur? Last one. Bend both knees, plant the feet, pull the butt towards the feet and roll down through your spine. Take a second. Walk your feet pretty close together, whatever feels comfortable in your body. Press a little bit like you're trying to push the mat away from you, pushing your feet down and out away from you. Feet are close together. And that's gonna help your pelvis roll, but it's also gonna help your ribs drop back. So with your ribs falling back, I want you to do a little wiggle so you can grab opposite elbows and pull the elbows as you rock side to side. And as I do this, it's like my shoulders and my ribs are crawling away from my butt. And then you're gonna find center, interlace the hands, support the head and the hands, lengthen the back of the neck, lift the head 1 inch off the mat, breathe in. If you're gonna come up any higher, try not to just yank the neck up, but curl around your heart. Lengthen your spine around your heart to curl up. So breastbone and heart are working. From there, keep your spine. Where is it? Just like when we're in cat-cow, where is it on the mat that you have the least amount of connection? Work that part of your belly. Same as when we were doing cat-cow, with that leg out, like what part is easy to curl and engage and what part is hard? Find yourself, allowing yourself to focus on the parts, like trusting that the part that activates is good and the other parts, maybe we give a little more love to. From here, we're gonna breathe in and exhale, float one knee over the hip. Make sure that feels okay in your body. Then we're gonna take the opposite arm as the leg that came up. We're gonna breathe in and let the head go down and the arm go down. You're gonna stretch that leg away from you, but you've gotta breathe into your body. So even here, I'm gonna let my ribs move into the mat, let them move to the sides of the body, to the sides of the room. And then as I exhale, I'm gonna pull that leg and I'm gonna reach that arm across my body towards the opposite leg and curl up. Inhale, reaching out, letting my head go down. Exhale, so that space and strength. Inhale, opening out. Exhale, curling up. Inhale, opening out. Exhale, opposite arm and leg. Reach, reach, reach with that arm. Inhale, notice if it's easy for you to just curl that leg in, but it's harder for you to curl the, or reach the arm and curl the upper back up, right? Where's your path of least resistance? Trust that that's gonna move and start to maybe stabilize that and move the other parts. Exhale, coming across, curling up. 2 more. Exhale, curling, reach, 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 reach. Inhale, exhale, curling. Remember this, reaching across the body there. So let's just do a few pulses, reaching that arm up and across. Up and across. Just 5, 3, 4, 5. Take the hand to support the head. Let the foot find the ground. Let the head take a moment to rest. Maybe even push the head back into the hands as you lengthen through the crown of your head. Breathing in, feel the feet pressing. Exhale, find where you need to work in the belly. Curling up, breastbone slides to pubic bone. Ribs draw in and down to the pelvis. Press into your stabilizing leg as you float the other leg up. Head is still heavy in the hand. Opposite arm reaches across to that leg that floated up. Inhale, stretch arm and leg away as the head goes down. Exhale, opposite arm and leg come towards each other as you curl up. Inhale, opening out. Exhale, curling up. Inhale, opening up. And it is going to be very easy just to try and pull your neck, curl around your breastbone, around your heart as you keep going with this. Inhale, into the mat. Exhale, curling up. Inhaling out. Exhale, curling up. Inhaling out. Exhale, curling up. Trying to let my head be heavy. It's hard when I'm talking too. Exhale, curling up. 3 more. Exhale, curling up. 2 more. Exhale, curling up. Where's your space with your strength? Exhale, curling up. Then bring the hands behind the head, bring the foot down, let the head rest. Arms are gonna find the mat with the palms down, shoulders are heavy. What you're gonna do is press into the ball of your foot and your toes and lift your heels up. You're gonna squeeze your heels, your knees, your hips together, draw the ribs down on the mat. If it's pulling at your neck or your back, if your ribs cannot find the mat and it's pulling on your neck to try and get it down, just fold your mat up or whatever you've got laying around, just grab something, your t-shirt, whatever you need to prop your head up, because if you can get your head up, your ribs are gonna have a higher success rate of actually falling into the mat. And then over time, we can adjust that. That's just slow postural transitions. So with the heels and the legs, the heels lifted and the legs squeezing together, you're gonna inhale and take your legs over to one side, breathing in. Shoulders and upper back, try and stay as stable on the mat as possible. Let's just say shoulder blades on the mat. Exhale, as you come back to center, imagine I'm holding your legs and you've got to try and resist me pulling you back to center with your belly. Inhale, drop the legs to the other side. Exhale, pull back to center. Keep going with this variation or float your legs up to tabletop. Inhale, going over to one side. I'm going to try and keep my legs squeezing together so I can peek at my knees and make sure they're relatively level. Exhale, I'm just thinking ribs, waist, pelvis to bring myself back to center. Inhale, going to the other side. Exhale, ribs, waist, pelvis. Inhale. Exhale, it's a slightly smaller range of motion than when my feet were on the ground. Be curious about where is the down? Where is your contact with the mat? Check in with your jaw and your neck as you do this. Let your neck and your jaw be free, sliding away from your pelvis and your tail and your sacrum as you do this. It's hard to find that, trust that my body has other forms of support than what my go-tos are. One more time. If this feels like enough, or the feet on the ground feel like enough, stick with that. If you can, you're gonna stretch your arms to the ceiling. You're gonna press the palms together. We're gonna extend the legs a little bit more towards the ceiling. If you want more low belly challenge, you take your legs a little bit away from you. So knees, maybe even outside the hips a little bit, but that's a lot of low belly work, which may start to pull in your back. So if ever it pulls in your back, bring your knees a little closer to your chest. So find the place that's right for you. I'm not straightening my legs all the way because I don't want to have to worry about hamstring constriction. So I'm just going to be here. I'm going to keep my hands over my chest, let my pelvis go one way. I'm going to let my eyes and my arms go the other way. So my hands and my chest are trying to go a little bit off to the side as my legs go to the other side. So I'm rotating it in. So here's this spiral, this twist. Exhale. How do I roll myself back to center with control? Inhale. Arms go one way, legs go the other way. Or if you're just sticking with the legs, do the legs side to side. Exhale, come center. Inhale as you rotate, spiraling. If you're spiraling in 2 directions, woo, how's the head to tail? Exhale, center. Inhale, if you can, see what it feels like to let your eyes go where your hands are going. Exhale, coming back to center. Inhaling, one more set like this. Exhaling. Other side, inhaling. Woo-hoo, I want to roll. That just totally wanted to drop off to that side. Exhale, coming center. From here, you're gonna let your knees fall into your chest and grab your thighs. You're gonna press your legs away from you to help you stretch and curl up. As we do this, a lot of times, the butt is so curled towards the face that we get a little stretch and curl, but it's like my low back is on the floor, which is lovely, but my sacrum is not, my butt is nowhere close. So I'm gonna press my legs away from me and push my tail, my sacrum down into the mat to help me curl up. This is where you're gonna try and stay. So breathe in and exhale, gather your pelvic floor, gather your belly, gather your abdominals, gather your support, chin towards the throat. Stretch the legs either tabletop to the ceiling, 45 degrees. Get your hips to ribs active. Stretch your arms on either side of your body, reaching through the palms, and you're gonna pump your arms 5 breaths in and 5 breaths out. Think back at the beginning when you were breathing and letting your ribs move. Chin towards the throat. Exhale, curl around the heart, not the chin towards the pubic bone. Maybe you want to bend your legs for a set, bending in like a frog. And maybe you want to exhale, test the water, sending your legs like, how far away can I go? Inhale, maybe bending in, maybe just letting yourself rest for a second. Exhale, send the legs somewhere. 2 more sets, breathing in. Exhale. Last one. Exhale. Then bend your knees in. Roll through your upper back as you take your head down. Press your head into the mat to alleviate that work in the back of the neck and the front of the neck. So if you think about length through the top of your head, push your skull, not your neck or your throat back, push your skull into the mat to help alleviate those muscles that were just active. Breathing there, we're going to grab our thighs, and if you can, try and rock yourself up to sitting. So you might need to take a little primer, rolling through your back, and then just try and sit right up. So again, this playfulness, this lightness, this spaciousness while we're moving. So we are now going to come back to the hands and knees. So only have a little bit of time left. I'm like, okay, I wanted to get to this. So beautiful hip work. We did that bridging with that rotation work, belly work, spaciousness. So I'm going to keep that, but you have to keep your organization when you do this. So you're going to be on your hands and knees or your fists and knees. If you start on your forearms, that's fine, but you are going to be pushing up and down. So I'm going to start with my hands underneath my shoulders. I'm going to push down through my one leg that's going to be stabilizing and activate those hip muscles. So like all around here are going to be activating. As I slowly brace with my abdominals, find my shoulder muscles, and send the other leg back. So from here, I want to lift that leg up. You're going to bend your elbows. You guys who have been in my class before when we do rocking swan and everyone complains about the pressure on your pubic bone. That's what we're doing now, but you don't have the pressure on your pubic bone, so yay! So we're gonna roll the pelvis on the thighs, taking weight in my arms, but I'm also working the stabilizing side. Stretch your other leg up. Find length from your navel to your head and from your navel out through your big toe. Stay there and try and bend your leg that's in the air, squeezing your hamstring and tush. Then straighten that leg and rock back up to your starting position. You're gonna lower down, bend the leg. Back does not sag. Everything is active to find your space and organization. Bend the elbows, bend the leg. Tush is working on both sides, just very differently. 3 more. Just breathe. I haven't cued an inhale or an exhale with this. Just breathe. Where's the shoulder on your rib cage? Last one. Pivoting on that stable leg. And then come in. You get to do the other side. So take a second, shake it out, find your alignment, find the lightness in your brain, your skull, find the lightness in your lungs and your heart, your organs, to your back body. Push your stabilizing side down into the mat so those hip muscles are really working, not the grip in the front of your hip. Remember, your pelvis is propped up on your femurs. Send the other leg back, lift it up. On the first one, take your time. How's your waist gonna stay even and long as you bend the elbows? I'm pushing through my stabilizing shin so that hip is active. Hold here, get longer from your navel to your big toe and from your navel to your head. Keep that length as you bend that leg that's lifted. Bend it, bend it, bend it. Hamstring and glute, working, working, working. Like foot towards the ceiling. Extend that leg, press through my hands and lift back up. Doing that again. As I lower my head down, my leg lifts and bends. Ooh, I lost my belly there. Straighten the leg and come back up. Bending, like a push-up, but you're pivoting on your stabilizing thigh. Other leg lifts. Bend that leg, hamstring and glute. Where's your waist? And lift up. Lowering, bending that leg. I really have to work to organize on this side. I've really got to get more work in my stabilizing side, and my belly on this side, especially as I get tired. I'm getting a little tired now. 2 more. And up. Oh, I lost my stabilizing leg. Last one. Come all the way in. From there, we're going to come back to our side sort of idea. And what I want to do is take one hand onto the mat. We are going to stack the legs. If that feels comfortable here, if it ever feels weird, start sitting maybe like this, right? Maybe this is easier. So you kind of go from a cross leg, and what you're going to be doing is shifting and lifting. But if you can start here, it's great. If you need to start somewhere else, that's fine. But what we're going to do, hand is wide. All you're going to do is go back to that side stretch, but it's a lot more work, right? So we're going to lift the hips up, lift the leg up, stretch the top arm out, and think length. But where's my rib cage pelvis? I'm lifting out of my bottom hand. I'm stretching there, and then we're going to come down. We're going to grab the shin, stretch the other way. Oh, and then do that again, pressing down, lifting up, stretching the leg, press into the bottom leg, work that hip. Bring the hip joint forward over the knee. And then coming down and stretching. One more on that side, pressing down into the hand, lifting up. So there's a lightness, there's a freedom. Find your space. Stretch, but lengthen, find your support, and then come all the way in. Stretch the other direction. And then take your hands back behind you and just swing your legs around to the other side. If you were just starting cross-legged and you were doing it and you're just using whatever you needed to, just go for that. So wherever you need to start, hand finds the mat, lift up, work the bottom leg. And on this side, I can feel it kind of pulling funny because I don't always want to, little asymmetries in all of our bodies. So I can feel it. So what do I need to do to find that evenness in that bottom hip? Stretch the top side, find the navel. So navel the head and hand, navel the pubic bone and big toe. And then I'm gonna come down and side bend away from there. Oh, and then we'll do that 2 more times. Lifting the hips, bringing that bottom hip forward, reach the top arm out. Navel to head to hand, navel to pubic bone to foot. Coming in, side bending away. Last one. Lifting up, lifting, lifting, lifting. So you don't want to collapse in your hand. You don't want to collapse into your shoulder. You want to stretch, reach, lengthen. Where's your central axis to organize around? And then you come in and you side bend. And then we come center and just sit in a comfortable position for you. So whether that's cross-legged, on a pillow, on a blanket, on the mat. If you want to rest on the mat, you're tired, just lay on your back and take a moment and breathe. And notice if it feels different than the very beginning of class. As you inhale, is there more movement in the whole dimension of your torso? That's what we're looking for. A lot of times we get stuck into just belly breathing or just rib cage breathing, and it should be a multi-dimensional experience of all sides, right? So when we inhale, the diaphragm goes down, it expands in all directions and comes back in. So just exploring that. That can be your homework. Thank you for joining us on this rainy LA day. Some of you guys are in different parts of the world, so you may not have some rain, so hopefully you have sunshine. Thank you guys for being here. I'm Nicole Watkins. I'm teaching for Kaira Studios. We hope that you're staying strong and that you're staying healthy and that you're staying home. Everyone, please be safe. And if you have other people that you know that want to take some Pilates, please have them join